Hello and welcome. My name is Errity Green and this is Wise Women Oracle and Tarot. And today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on what people say behind your back. So I think this will be a fun one. They are always meaningful. If this lands for you, if you like it, if it resonates, do share your story in the comments so we can chat about it. Like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive a notification every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me, my work, purchasing a personal reading, you can visit the link below or go to erritygreen.com/shop. Last but not least, I'd love to have you over at my other YouTube communities. I have two other channels, Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television, which are also listed alongside my books available on Amazon. So do check it all out. And without further delay, I will place a picture up now of your three card piles to choose from. As always, you are choosing from left to right. Okay, card pile one. What do people say about you, or what do people say behind your back? So I feel like people actually think you're a really good-hearted, good-souled person. People see you as non-judgmental, they see you as receptive, they see you as open, they see you as accepting, they see you as someone who really doesn't judge people and can befriend anyone from all walks of life, who can be a chameleon in a room. They can hang out with the highest class of individuals or any class of individuals and totally get along just fine, just right, can have a conversation and really finds the value in every single person and every single soul. It's this energy I feel is like you can make a home for anyone. And of course, as long as your safety is assured or established, that people see that you would have a conversation with the CEO of a massive company and you have just as much a meaningful conversation with them as you would, say, someone you met in a homeless shelter or someone you met on the street, that you treat everyone just the same and that you're not going to pick and choose, who you like or who you talk to or who you give your time and attention to just based on like the status quo or socioeconomic status or whatever. Again, a very loving, accepting, warm person, non-discriminating, non-judgmental, very open, receptive, and warm, but again, can find a place, find a home with anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place. You just have this social adeptness of being able to really connect with people. And now it's not saying that you're considered an extrovert or an overly sociable person. It's saying that when the opportunity arises, you can talk to anyone, you can make anyone a friend, and you treat everyone just the same, okay? So, okay, they also see you as someone a little bit unusual, someone who lives outside of the box, kind of like, well, they kind of do their own thing, maybe that kind of gossip or what people say behind your back. It could be something like, well, they do their own thing, they live by the beat of their own drum. They might consider you alternative. They might consider you non-mainstream. They might consider you someone who is off-grid. You can be someone who is off-grid, who is sort of doing like homesteading and or what is it called when you have like, I'm thinking of other things too, but whatever, maybe you live with a community or a communal kind of situation, or you just do something unusual, something different. You're not going to be, mainstream, status quo, 9-to-5 kind of person. And if you are, you're going to be an outlier of that, whatever industry or field or status quo thing that you are in, you're going to be a radical version of that, an extreme version of that. You're going to be an outlier version of that. And so because of this, it's almost like sometimes you probably feel like you don't belong at times because you are sort of extreme, but not extreme, more like just extremely you and very authentic. And so people see that and sometimes they may not understand it because I do feel this air of not judgment, but like they really just live by the beater of their own drum, I must say, that kind of energy. But they also see you as someone who's willing to take a risk, who's willing to live outside of customs and norms, who isn't scared to push the edges of what's comfortable or what's familiar. Someone who's really willing to sort of live outside of the matrix. You know, you've unplugged. What is it? The red or the blue pill on the matrix? You've taken the one that allowed you to open your mind. And people know that. People see that, again, you dance to the beat of your own drum. You very much do your own thing. You could be living a very alternative, non-customary kind of lifestyle. And people recognize that about you. And they're like, you know what? They do their own thing. They do their own thing. And even if you are in sort of a mainstream or normal kind of experience, industry, field, whatever, you are very much the person who is an outlier or an extreme or someone who's seen as radical on that path. Now, what I want to share is you might find that you feel like you don't belong because when you are a part of mainstream culture, you are going to stand out. You're not probably going to be as understood, and they'll describe you in some of these ways that I've shared here. And part of this is a reminder that if you're being seen as an outlier or a radical or something like that, it doesn't mean that that's not your place, but it means like there are places that consider you more familiar or more like home that you would feel more at home at, but it would be people who are more like-minded, like-hearted, as opposed to trying to fit a square and a round hole kind of thing. It's no wonder that you'll feel like an outsider in those situations. And it doesn't mean that you can't be in those situations. If you are comfortable and you feel authentic and true to yourself, no matter where you plant your feet, and even if it is in a standard issue 9-to-5 job or traditional role, that's fine. You know, you get to own that, you get to be that. But there is a message here is if you do feel alone or outside the box, it might be because you're trying to fit a square in a round hole. Okay, what else do they say about you? Oh, yeah. They say that they believe that you will sort of fight any battle, wage any war. You will fight for what you believe in. You're not going to go down without a fight. You're going to go down swinging. They see you as someone who's very powerful, who will see anything through, and will also, it's like you won't back down from any battle. You won't back down from any war. You will stand your ground. And also you'll use any challenge or hardship as an opportunity for growth, for fertilizer. Like you're not going to just be the type of person who, something hard or bad happened and now, they've been depressed for a year and hiding away in a room kind of thing. You're the person who's going to stand up, who's going to use that energy to shift, to make it constructive and use it toward more change, more transformation. Again, I feel like there is a warrior in you. There is someone who will fight any battle, wage any war, say the thing that must be said, do the thing that must be done. I think people might be intimidated by you. I don't feel the energy in this reading of people like talking trash, like, oh, you know what they're doing, da, 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 da. It's more like, don't mess with them. Like, you don't want to upset them, and not in a way that you are emotionally volatile, but you will stand for truth, and you operate from a place of conviction, and very rare a time where you are going to walk away and not be the one to call out something when it's unjust or make something known or call out the big elephant in the room. That's when people might avoid you, especially in more customary kinds of situations or more normal workplaces and stuff. They know that you're going to be the person to blow the whistle, right? So you might be the whistleblower, the person, again, who's not going to go down without a fight and who is going to use any challenge, any experience, any hardship as fertilizer to be able to create something new. Again, you're going to use that to create something constructive. You're going to use it toward transformation. You're going to use it for good. It's not going to be done in vain. So what do people say about you? They think you're open, accepting of everybody, non-discriminating. You can open your heart and home to just about anyone, and you treat everyone as equals and equally valuable. They see you as someone who lives outside the box, dances by the beat of their own drum, and who's willing to take a risk, take a leap, and do things that are totally out of the norm and average of common society or the standard issue customs and norms of your culture. And they see you as someone who will not back down, who is relatively intimidating, who could be a whistleblower, who is always going to call out injustice or demand the truth or seek for the truth, and will stand your ground and fight any battle or war that you must. So card pile 1, I'd love to hear what you have to share on this. Do like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every time a reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me, my work, how I can support you, personal readings, check out the link below or visit erritygreen.com/shop. I do have 2 other YouTube communities. I'd love to see you over there. The channels are listed below: Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television, right alongside my books on Amazon, which are also available for purchase. All right, card pile 1, I will see you next time. Okay, card pile 2, what do people say about you? So card pile 2, right off the bat, I feel like people see you as someone who perhaps won't give yourself what you want. I feel like some people feel bad for you. And I know when I say that, I feel bad saying that. So I'm kind of giving into the whole energy here, but it's like, they want more for you. They feel like you've worked so hard and you've done the things and it's like you've really worked hard, and even if you haven't quote unquote worked hard, life might have been hard for you. It might have delivered you some hard hands. And or you got yourself into plenty of cluster Fs, and one way or the other, you've kind of been through it, and people really want you to like see the other side, to experience the joy of life, to have more, to experience more, but then they see that you're still kind of foot in mouth, stuck in the same place. I feel like people do sometimes question, you guys, this is going to be a trigger warning because this is a controversial reading. Let's be honest. What do people say behind your back? So you might find that things trigger you. If you are triggered, please do comment below. There is no shame here. Let there be a community and a connection here to support you through that. With that said, this is just an opportunity to get to know yourself further and work through any of these hurdles that aren't really true to you ultimately, right? If you want to change. And some of these things might not be true, right? This is just their perception. But if it is true, you have an opportunity to own it and change it. Okay. So I feel like they think like, you get stuck in these areas, but it's kind of like you do it to yourself. So I feel like they see that and they can see it clearly, but maybe they think that you can't see it clearly, that maybe you have habits or patterns where, things tend to not work out, but it's because of your own habits and patterns. So it's like, maybe you never have any money, but that's because you spend it or spend it frivolously. Maybe you never can hold a job, but that's because you tend to show up late regularly. It can be anything, you guys. These aren't necessarily examples from spirit. This is more so from the energy. I am trying to come up with examples that might match the situation. So apply it to your circumstance and conditions as it does match. Like, don't try to make it fit. See how it arises in your own experience. You might have really quote unquote bad luck in relationships, but people are starting to wonder, is it you? They're seeing that there might be some occasional drama or upsets or hardships or challenges or losses or whatever, just misfortune in life. And people wonder, well, maybe they need to do something different, right? Maybe people try to pin it on you. But they ultimately feel bad for you, want more for you, and they want you to shift out of this. If you're finding that is true for you in any way, they want you to shift out of this so you can have what you want. When they talk about you behind your back, it's not in a way that they're dogging you or not believing in you. It's more like they want more for you. It's out of love. So it is from a place of love, but they recognize that you deserve more and you should have more. And yet, one way or another, you tend to get yourself stuck. So whatever way that is in your life, whether relationships, finances, parenting, job, you tend to foot and mouth, get yourself stuck, and then be like, oh, my life sucks. And so they're seeing that, oh, this is actually them in a pattern of maybe you have an upper limiting issue. They might not call it that, but it's like anytime you reach a certain level of fulfillment or satisfaction in your life, you find a way to sabotage it because you ultimately don't love yourself enough or haven't gotten to that place where you love yourself enough to let yourself have it. Now, here's the thing. I do want to let you know, card pile 2, as you're hearing this, because this can be hard to hear, let's be honest. This is something that almost everybody has to work through at some point in their life. I have to work through this in different areas. So I want to let you know, I self-sabotage. And I share that because as someone who many times is seen as strong or persevering or enduring or successful or whatever these labels people put on me or my persona, they don't see that I also have these same things. So there's nothing wrong with you and there's nothing to be ashamed of, but this is helpful awareness that people really want more for you. They do come from a loving place, but they see that sometimes you get yourself caught up in situations that don't ultimately do you justice in terms of your potential. Yeah, they want to see you shift this. They want to see you change this. They want to see you break through, that they really want more for you. They see you as someone who is capable, who is powerful, who can kind of step out of this drama, this loop, this triangle, whatever this is. And yet you haven't necessarily made that choice yet, and they see that as a lack of self-love. They might not say it that way again, but there's someone like, man, they just won't let themselves be happy, will they? They wouldn't had to go F that up again. They actually found a good person, and then they went right back to the other person, right? So it's kind of that energy where people don't always understand you, perhaps, or your decisions. They want more for you. They see that you sort of get caught up in the same old dramas or the same old situations, and people want to see you thrive. They want to see you succeed. They want more for you, but they also know that you have to want that, and want that enough for yourself. And again, some of you might not be aware of this pattern. Some of you might be. It's very brave and courageous to walk into a reading like this that could be filled with landmines. And so I applaud your bravery. And again, I connect with some of this stuff in some areas where I continue to ride on that hamster wheel, and it's the same old story, Groundhog Day, for weeks, months, years. And oftentimes, until someone calls it out or points it out, we're not even aware of it. That's why it's so good to get a reading like this and to allow yourself to enter the field of landmines, that you can become intimately familiar with yourself and the ways that you hold yourself back, because ultimately this is an upper limiting thing. You're not letting yourself be happy. You're not letting yourself break through. And it's because you don't believe that you're worthy or have enough love for yourself. People see this. They want more for you, but they see that it's you sabotaging yourself. They know that you're capable of changing. They've seen you do it before. They've seen you walk away, do the thing, say the thing, do what you must do, but you tend to default and go right back to where you were before. It is something that is hard for you to sustain, and it does have to do with a lack of a sense of self-worth, as well as a lack of belief in yourself, and almost feeling like it's hard, feeling like it's hard work. It's hard work to walk away from that relationship, to break this cycle, to break the addiction, to leave it behind, to find a new job, to get an education, whatever your version of that story is. It's hard. And I feel like that's the sustainability issue. It's like in the past, you have seen successes, and yet you tend to default, and it's because it's hard to carry the weight of transformation. But you are, in terms of what's being said behind your back, people recognize that you are capable of it. They've seen you do it before. It's just a matter of taking it one day at a time and getting the support that you need, whether it's you need to pay for support, therapist, mentor, coach, something like that, accountability partner, or if it's you at some kind of circle or group meeting like AA, or a similar version of that, so you have that regular support to keep you going. I'm not implying that anyone or everyone has any kind of substance use or abuse situations. That very well is likely true for some of you, but for many of you, it's totally different things. But there are groups like that for all kinds of issues, and you just have to look it up. Let's see what else is here. Yeah, they really want you to start honoring yourself. They want you to start honoring how you feel, your needs, what you want, what is best for you. It's funny because I do relate to this pile. It's like, my inner wounded child tends to line up with a lot of this energy, even though my wholeness doesn't, and I tend to not present that way. And I only share that too, because this isn't my reading. It's not for me, but as a reflection to affirm for you that all of us have these kinds of shadows, and people might say this very well about me, but people say, gosh, I really wish they'd finally do something that really supports them, that really loves them. Like, I really wish they'd really love themselves enough, or honor themselves enough, or really listen to themselves enough to be true to themselves and to live well, and to learn to carve a new path, find a new way, find the light, move toward the light, to really love, care, and honor yourself. So, basically, what are people saying behind your back? They're saying that you deserve more. They want more for you. They see that you tend to get caught up in the same triangles, loops, dramas, and traumas, and situations, challenges, and hardships. They recognize that this is partly, at least, you and your self-sabotage, and you're upper limiting yourself, not allowing yourself to experience more joy, success, or satisfaction, which is related to a lack of self-worth or belief in your own unworthiness. And there is an opportunity there to expand into more self-love and to love yourself more. And last but not least, they really want to see you take care of yourself, honor your needs, honor your truth, your inner voice, your inner wisdom, your intuition. They want to see you take care of yourself and do the right thing for yourself and make the best and most out of situations. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you thrive. They want to see you love. They want to see you do well. And they know that you are capable of making that change and transformation. It doesn't feel like you have yet, or you have, right, in the past with some successes, but there's some where you tend to keep hitting that wall, and they want you to break through that wall. They want to see you break through that wall. And so I hope this reading today is not only enlightening, but supportive and moving you toward breaking through those limits. And again, if you need the support to do that, then please do get it. All right, card pile 2, I'd love to hear your responses in the comments. Do like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me, my work, personal readings, you can check out the details below or visit erritygreen.com/shop. Last but not least, I do have 2 other YouTube communities. I'd love to see you join my other YouTube channels, Psychic True Crime, Wise Women Television, both of which are linked below alongside my books on Amazon, which are also available for purchase. Thank you, card pile 2. Card pile 3. So what are people saying behind your back? So card pile 3, I feel like they've seen that you've been through a lot. You've had a hard few or couple of years. They see that you've been challenged and you've been faced with significant hardship and experienced probably more challenge and difficulty than you have for most of your life. So these feel like pretty biggies, like when we talk about adverse childhood events or those, there is another thing for adults where you can take that questionnaire online. And I'd encourage you to do that, card pile 3, if it lands for you, even though I can't even give you the exact name, but you can look it up, like trauma quiz or like life changes stressor quiz. You might look that up on as keywords on Google, but there is a quiz that you can take to determine a certain score. You get a numerical value based on the number of stressors or changes or transitions that have occurred in your life over the past however long. I think it's a year or 3 to 5 years or something. And I feel like you're a person who would score pretty high. So these are things like losing your home, losing your job, relocating, divorce. But these are also stressful events that are good. So this is having a child, buying a new home, starting a new career, getting married. And so you might do that quiz and just see how many things you've been through. But some of you, I feel like, have lost loved ones. Some of you might have lost parents, lost a mother. I'm getting an energy of just big, sweeping life changes that are life altering, that crack the shell of your identity and existence in a way that you will never be the same. And it actually brings up a lot of emotion. I can't help it because, when I feel that, I just, have such deep, compassion and connection for the people who are facing something so monumental and insurmountable that it just feels impossible. And people see that obviously because it's being spoken to here. They're saying that you will never be the same. And I think the people who are saying this kind of stuff behind your back, they wish more for you. They want more for you. They want to hold you. They want to support you. They don't know how always. They don't know what to say or what to do. They may not always be there, but they see what you've been through and they are validating it, whether they're saying it vocally to you or not. I think some people are scared to touch it, kind of like a hot stove. It's like it's such a raw wound that people don't know how to approach it. People don't know how to touch it. People don't know how to be with it. And so then they might not be able to be with you in a way that you might really need and benefit from. But they see you've been through something significant, again, life-altering, if not psychologically, I don't want to say damaging isn't the word, but it almost, perhaps for some people, led to mental health issues or could have been a version of psychosis or a mental break, whatever, when we call it like that. And, something that led to significant challenges, not just in terms of like the massive loss, but the residual effects. So it's like once an earthquake hits, it very rarely is just an earthquake. There's aftershock after aftershock after aftershock for a time until that change is fully integrated. And so I feel like that's, what you've been going through over the past few years. And people see that, they recognize that. Again, it's like a hot stove. People don't always know how to approach it. Some of you might have lost a child, lost a pet, lost a home. Again, these are big changes, big sweeping changes that you won't ever be the same. And maybe there's some reassurance in that, if you do feel different and you don't feel like maybe there's some ownership and acceptance there of, okay, this is who you are now. And that did change you. And, that's that, right? It is what it is. And some people hate that saying, but there's a beautiful acceptance in that and just letting things be. And so maybe you won't be the same after this. And the less we resist those kinds of things, the more we can become available to what wants to change or shift or carry us through into the next phase or chapter or experience of our lives. Now, what other people are saying though, is like, gosh, I really, some people are saying this. Again, this could be a triggering or controversial reading for some people, but I feel like you guys are ripe for change. You've been in it. You've been deep in it. You've been swallowed. You're in the belly of the beast, and you want your way out. And so I think you're open to hearing this, whereas some people or maybe other card piles wouldn't be. Even if it's hard to hear, people are like, I really wish they would start sort of moving on and doing what they need to do. I really like to see them in a new relationship. I really like to see them putting themselves out there. I really like to see that old zest and fire they once had. They were really excited about life. And my heart really, I feel this deeply for all of you. I empathize with you. I do. And I'm familiar. I think everybody who watches this, even if they're cross-watching, meaning they're not necessarily watching for themselves or they watch the whole reading, anyone can relate to this, whether they're in the thick of it in the moment or not. But people are like, I wish, or I miss the way that they were, where they were full of life and motivation, and they were ready to take on the world. And people might reminisce, or they might be nostalgic about who you once were, but it's not about them missing you. It's more about what they want for you. It's, again, from a place of love. These people aren't talking trash. They're like, I really want more for them. I know that they're capable of more. They deserve more. Like, look what they've been through. But they gotta, in order to move forward, they gotta kind of pick up their pants and find a way, put themselves out there, do the thing, change something up, be willing to come out of their comfort zone and, step out of the shell or the hole that they have sort of buried themselves in, or the corner they've hidden away in. So people see the depth and the gravity of your challenges and your hardships. They see that you've been broken because of it. They've seen that you've been changed for good, but ultimately for the better. And they're seeing this as an opportunity for you to find a new way, a new path, a new identity. So maybe you won't be the person that you were before. You might be someone different. And I think part of that is there's acceptance there, and they want you to start seeing that and utilizing the opportunities to enjoy, or at least some semblance of enjoyment of this new chapter, where they're like, if they would just get out there, if they would just sign up for that thing, or if they would just apply to that school, or if they would just go to that community event, or if they would just put themselves out there online, or do the thing, or say the thing, or get the job, whatever version of that is relevant for you. They say, how do I say this in a way? They're like, and this can be, again, a little bit hard, listening to these readings. So again, trigger warning for those of you who might be sensitive to this, but ultimately I think you're ready for it. I think you're ready to hear it. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. People behind your back, they're saying, it is time to move on. And maybe they're not moving on from that experience or those pains, those losses, or those experiences. I want to make a quick side note, as Errity, I don't necessarily believe that we ever just get over losing a child, or get over losing a parent, or even the loss of anything, any kind of earthquake, earth-shattering event in our life that changes us for good. It ultimately might even have an effect on our mental, psychological health and our well-being. I don't think there is just any getting over it. But in terms of what the reading is saying, in terms of what people are saying, they're wanting to see you move on, and move on from sort of the dark night of the soul, the deep depression, the loss of what once was, the deep grief or the mourning, the trauma, whatever that was. And again, this is all from a place of love. These people aren't like, this person's, overdue, time's up. It's more like they want more for you. They know that there's more out for you. They know that you are capable of more. They just want more for you, and you want more for you. You want more for you. And they see that, they match that. That's why they want to see you move on. But it's less about moving on. It's more about moving forward. So those things might always be a part of you. Moving on sort of implies that you leave something behind. It's more like you might very well carry it with you, but you're still venturing into new frontiers. It's almost like, I get this energy kind of like, when I say frontier, of like the Wild West, where it's almost like someone has been dealt a rough hand and they're like, okay, we're starting over. And they kind of venture out west. Like back in the day, they would venture out west and start over. And it doesn't mean that they forgot about their family back home, or that they don't care about the people who are there, or their old lives or whatever. They take all of that with them. It's all still in their heart. It's a part of who they are. And they start over. There's a new frontier there. Let's see what else is here. So what are people saying behind your back? They want to see you come out of this with wisdom. They want to see this support you in not necessarily becoming a better person. They're not implying that you're not a good person now, but it's like they would love to see you be able to use this in a way that truly honors you and serves you. As opposed to something when we can, a change in our lives that breaks us and changes us forever, it can either make us less of a version of ourselves that feels less or limited or small. They don't want that for you. They want you to use this as a chance to become all that you are, to deepen into your higher self, truer self, authentic self, to stand with more strength and wisdom, to really own this story as a part of your story, but of course, just one part of your story, but ultimately into the mosaic of you that is wise, that is strong, that is knowing, that is loving, that is compassionate, that carries a lot of grief, but also warmth and tenderness and grace and forgiveness and honoring. And I feel like they see it as something that's making you you and bringing you into a place of more wholeness within yourself. And they're able to see that and they want that for you. So they, instead of seeing you sort of wallow away and disappear into nothingness, so to speak, they'd rather see you use this for good or make the most of it, or they'd rather see it help you become all that you are, to really own your highest or fullest potential. They know that you're capable of that and that you're going to ultimately use this as a gift in some way. And you might not see it as a gift. It doesn't have to be a gift. It doesn't have to be perceived that way. But I feel like they do see that it's helping you step into a fuller version of yourself, which may be something you can't even see or see at the moment, but ultimately will. But it's more about using it for good and toward your fullest potential, and in a way that honors you, but also honors the pain and honors the experience. It makes you wiser. It makes you truer. It makes you more grounded, true to the earth. There's a grace here and a strength and a wisdom and a compassion that perhaps could have been there before, but has been deepened and expanded into and really grounded. And it's a part of who you are now. It's like the pain has transformed into more love or more compassion or wisdom or strength or grace. And it has made you a better person. And not that there is no good, bad, or better, right? But it's more like a whole person, a fuller person, someone who can walk with both grace and strength. Just a beautiful soul, a beautiful soul. So card pile 3, that's what people are saying behind your back. I'd love to hear your shares in the comments. If you found you enjoyed or at least that the reading resonated, I encourage you to like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive a notification every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me and my work, buying a personal reading, you can check out those details below or visit erritygreen.com/shop. I do have 2 other YouTube communities. I'd love to see you over there: Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television, both of which are linked below, right alongside my books on Amazon for purchase. So thank you, card pile 3. It was a true honor and pleasure. Until next time.